and very excited to bring back on a guest that we had a few weeks ago, Rahul Alim. And Rahul, I'm really excited to have you back on the show. So in our previous discussion, what we spoke about was basically, or what I titled the episode, which you don't know yet, is getting to the top and staying there. Basically, was the theme of the show, like what it takes to become a successful coach, having that long-term view, falling in love with the process, all the stuff that we spoke about in the previous episode. But one of the things that you mentioned that we didn't have enough time to get into, and that's why I'm inviting you back, is that you help coaches to attract clients and grow their business. And so what I want to do is bring you back on and go through the specific system that you use to help coaches do that. So again, just before we get into that, for the coaches listening that haven't listened to the previous episode with Rahul, I highly recommend that you go and do that. A lot of, as a valuable insight on what it takes to become a successful coach over the long term, which is, again, it was a hugely valuable episode and another reason why I'm bringing you back on. So anyway, Rahul, welcome back. Excited to dive into this strategy.
Glad to be here. This will be a fun one.
All right. So yeah, as I said, this will be fun because now we get into the specific, this is all the stuff that coaches like, right? It's like the specific kind of what to do to get more clients strategy.
Exactly.
So let's start with, when a new client comes on board, like a coach to your program, just take me through the process that you do to help them take them from where they are, which is generally probably no clients or very inconsistent clients, to a consistent flow of clients. What do those steps look like? And then we can dive into like each one individually.
Yeah. I mean, there's 3 basic steps. Number 1 is traffic. Number 2 is sales. Number 3 is going to be systems. Traffic means like your niche, your offer, how you're going to acquire awareness of people knowing exactly what you're doing. And I'll dive into a little bit deeper as we go. Then we have our sales methodology. Like what are we going to indoctrinate them into? How are you going to start that transactional process? Number 1, to indoctrinate them to become like a first transaction into a client, into a raving fan. The last part is going to be systems. That's going to include like delivery, fulfillment, and then ultimately it can be SOPs and team. The very first thing that I really start off anybody with is number 1, understanding their history, like where are they at, what they've tried, where have they failed, and ultimately their goals. Because once I know their goal, then I can develop a roadmap without kind of like, if I was just kind of doing a one size fits all, I would give everybody the same process and system. I kind of look at it like my hat, the Lakers. Phil Jackson was their coach for their last several championships. I look at our system as almost like a triangle offense that he put into Chicago Bulls and into Lakers. We put our triangle offense into like our system, our people that we bring in and enroll. So we want to meet them where they are and understand like their personality types, like introverts, extroverts, who they have as their contact list, because that's super important. Because if people don't like talking on the phone, we're not going to recommend go cold call people. We're going to recommend having warmer conversations where they feel comfortable, because our job is to elicit change. We got to change the mindset. We got to change the person that they are so they can have a bigger perspective. The way we do that is really kind of, we have a very hands-on approach, regardless of what level of coaching we do with them. It's always number 1 is once they buy into our philosophy and they believe that they can commit, the commitment is the most important part. Their commitment to themselves, their freedom, their family, their revenue. Once they're committed on them, then if it makes sense to work with any coach, whether it's us, anybody out there, then they can work with you next. Because we want to have that free and clear, no hesitation. We're going to be the new person we need to be. Our future pace of the person 10 years from now, are they going to be proud of us? I'm a big fan of following my philosophy, especially with newer people, and I call it the hot dog offers. And that's really kind of like, because I love Costco, the grocery store, the warehouse store. So as a kid, I used to go there for the hot dogs, and then my mom would go shopping and have a huge cart of stuff. So it was like the $1.50 got our foot in the door. And then we started browsing around, and all of a sudden $400 later, you have a big grocery list of stuff you may or may not have needed. Now we help people find their hot dog offer. What is the foot in the door to be able to get their clients to be able to do business with them quicker? Now, rolling it back to my very specific example is when I started in 2004, my hot dog offer was selling graphic design, specifically banner ads on the internet, and specifically to real estate agents at the time. So if
Okay.
I saw a real estate agent advertising on the internet, I would click their ad, go to their website, find their phone number, give them a call, explain my offer, how it can make their traffic a lot more prestigious, better brand awareness, more clicks, more conversions, etc., just from my design unit. And they
Yep.
spent a lot of money on the advert, so I would offer them to do the design to make it represent them better. That offer sold like crazy, but because I started with my foot in the door, was it my end all be all? Absolutely not. But it was to start the
Mhm.
relationship so I can gain the
Yeah, yeah,
trust, but do it at blazing fast speed so I can scale that up. So it's like, don't worry about the long term relationship that we have. Let's focus on first building a relationship, get a
yeah,
$150, $200 transaction in the door, deliver, and then they love it. And then we start the process of doing more work with them. So I teach them that process of get your foot in the door first, solve a problem that they're going to be happy with. Get them to know, like, and trust you in blazing fast speed, and then mature your relationship on how you can make additional recommendations one with a low risk offer. It's low
yeah,
risk to them because the price is low. It's low risk to you because if something goes wrong, refunding is not a big deal. But then also, I'm putting people in a position where our offer is guaranteed to knock their socks off. And that's
mm,
the one thing they wish they had from other providers. That's why they're skeptical, is because everybody's trying to sell them the 20,000, the $1,500 a month thing. And then people do the math, $1,500 a month, that's $18,000 a year. What if it doesn't work? They're
mm,
listening to that voice.
yeah, yeah. So the hot dog offer, is it always a paid offer, or could it be like a free lead magnet? It's always paid, is it?
The I like to do it as a paid offer just because that's how we're going to eliminate the tire kickers and we're going to get the serious people. Now, in terms of doing something free to build your database, yeah, that's going to be what the Tripwire offers. So it's like, here's a free content plan on how you can spend
Yeah,
30 minutes and come up with 30 topics of content blazing fast and launch it on your social profile. Those are things we can give away for free. Now that we've got the database built up, then we can make our hot dog offer. Now,
okay.
there's going to be different strokes for different folks. Like if you want to build the tripwire and you have your database, or if, like in my case, I just picked up the phone. That was the
Mm,
fastest path to getting in
yeah,
touch with somebody who could be my potential buyer. But that was also matching my personality style, is that I wasn't worried about getting hung up on. I was looked at it as a learning experience. Like if someone hangs up on me, my video game brain will say, well, how do I get past level one so they don't? So then
yeah,
I'd find that rhythm. Sometimes it was humor, sometimes it was a different method. I would just play with different openers. And then ultimately I had a really high success rate. And then a lot of people told me no, but that didn't bother me because then video game level number two turned on. It was like, now
yeah,
that they're telling me no, how do I get past that? Once they're telling me yes, then I'm in level three. Level three is deliver really, really well. Then level four is when they loved what I did, then I'm going to make an offer for more, and then I'm
yeah.
going to mature the
Another
relationship.
no-brainer offer. Yeah, cool. And so, how many do you generally recommend, because of the speed that coach, like if you want to do it, to do the outbound dialing? Is that usually the fastest path?
Like the people I'm coaching are a lot are marketing agencies, and a lot have a very specific like coaching niche that they're in. If there is a database where we can reach people where the client's numbers are on the internet, like real estate, dentists, lawyers, they're all over the internet. All you can just you're a Google search away from having a free database. Then I highly recommend get comfortable doing some outbound because that's how you're going to get the pain points. That's how you're going to get the
Mm,
research. You're going to find out a couple things. Number one, what they don't want, because you're definitely going to piss them off at first because you're calling blind if you don't have
mm,
a strategy. And then number two is you're going to find out what they really want. Because at the
yeah,
end of the day, they want somebody that will understand their business. They do have the money, they will spend the money. They just don't want to be sold to. Now, how do we open up their pocketbooks, but also understand the business so we can have like a successful relationship? So it's not just about us and us making money. How do we make them more successful so ultimately we all win? And a lot of times to break that trust barrier from going from total stranger to friendship, relationship, and paying us is going to be low ticket, low risk. Solve a
yeah.
big problem.
So solve a like a specific low ticket offer, and then once they're in the door, then that's when you would propose like a uh, longer term kind of coaching program. Is that right?
Yeah, and I start that process on the initial like first offer. Like if I would, like for instance, like when I offer things to coaches, I have a $47 subscription that people can sign up for to learn our systems.
Yeah.
We have an online on-demand web portal. Then we have once a week live Zoom coaching where anybody can come on, hop off Zoom, ask any questions. Now, then our next offer of a hot dog type offer is a one-on-one call where we roadmap your offer, your strategy all in 1 hour. Then
Yeah.
the next level is joining one of our levels of our inner circle program.
Is that
So
a
we
paid offer?
created,
That strategy, is that paid?
yeah, everything, all these three things I just mentioned are paid. So it's like $47 membership, one-on-one call for a
Yeah.
fee, and then our main programs. We have three different levels:
Okay.
a quarterly, a semi-annual, and then annual level. And then we launched a boardroom level where it's all one-on-one.
Okay.
But yeah, but to get people into our ecosystem to just have those conversations is we do use the tripwire. We do have the free stuff. Get our free training on ads for your agency or your coaching company. Get your free content calendar. So we have so much free stuff that we just give our playbooks away because we don't care if people have our playbooks and they don't need to hire us. That's perfectly fine if they can operate it. But I look at everything as everything we do is on the internet already. It's already in our Facebook group. Like we just get, it's like Tom Brady's Super Bowl winning playbook. It's already published on the internet because the game is over.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
why can't every quarterback win the Super Bowl? Why can't they just repeat it? It's
Yeah.
because so much stuff happens in the moment. When you have a question, who are you going to ask? Yourself? That's clearly not going to be the right person.
Mm. Okay. And okay. So if a coach doesn't want to do outbound, what do you recommend in that instance?
Yeah, I mean, we like think of this, like you can start your own broadcast station in a blink of an eye. You have a YouTube station, you have a Facebook station, you have a Facebook group,
Mm.
Instagram, TikTok, podcasts, what email list. So you have your own closed caption station that you keep it so focused on what you do and who you help that you can drive traffic there. One of
Yeah.
the guys on my team started a YouTube account 45 days ago. It's incrementally gone up because he's talked only about pain points and primarily about leveraging organic content. Now,
Mm.
that YouTube video has a description. In the description, as a way to get a hold of us, and
Mm.
with a Calendly link. The Calendly link booked 4 people. All 4 people were hot because the video was good and it identified who we work with.
Okay. Now, with that type of content strategy, I guess the key there is to whatever channel you choose, or number one, you want to make sure your market is hanging out there. And number two, that you be consistent. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, absolutely. Consistency is absolutely key because if you kind of go up and down, you'll also get those levels of results.
Mm.
And that's why we have like our content calendars that we give away and share and do strategies with our clients and ourselves. It's so we can remain consistent because once we're clear, then we can actually do the work. If we're unclear or unfocused, then it's gonna be choppy waters because we're just kind of taking wild swings and guessing.
Right. Right. And so obviously if you're doing consistent, like if you don't want to do it outbound, you do but I think there's value in doing the outbound because you learn so much about your market. But if not, do the consistent content, and that will actually give you feedback on your market too, because you'll be able to see what episodes are most popular. And but yeah, always having a call to action at the end of your episodes. Do you recommend that as well?
Yeah, I do soft call to actions, meaning it's not like book a call now, like hardcore, like infomercial style. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, if you feel this is for you, would love to chat, and you can take a look at us. There's about us in the description, and if you want to book some time, we can wrap on the phone and see if we can help you. Calendar's available for you below. So we just do
Yeah.
it super chill.
Yeah.
And just if they want to book, they can book because we don't know who's going to watch it at what point in time. It could be 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, it could be 6 months from now.
Right.
Because the one thing I do know is that when you first start out, you got to be really, really patient because all the people that have like a lot of views or seem to be doing well on the internet based on whatever they say, whether it's self-proclaimed or real, it just takes time. Like
Mm.
Gary Vaynerchuk will say it best, took him years before people stopped trolling him, and he started getting traction on Twitter, then took it to YouTube, then took it to Facebook, then Instagram and TikTok, and now it's years later that he had great success. It
Mm.
doesn't mean it's going to take years. It's just that it's such an opportunity to do your content at scale where anybody can see it. But let's
Yeah.
just say you don't have a big audience. Now you have content of value that you can send on DMs if you're having conversations on Facebook,
Yeah.
that you can send the text messages to friends, family, prospects. You can send it out to your email distribution list so you can create it, then push it to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and we discussed that a lot in the previous episode on having that long-term view, right? If you're in it for the long term, the way that I look at it is like if you're doing this, you're not in this for the money, right? I mean, yes, it's nice to earn a lot from coaching. That's kind of like the side benefit. Like the main thing is this is what you love doing, and you just kind of fall in love with the process. And so if you just do that and you just stay consistent with your content and you enjoy doing it, eventually those results will come. They might come in 12 months. They might come in 3 years. Was it Lewis Howes? He said that if you're going to start a podcast, like minimum 2-year commitment just to get like some traction, right? That's the type of long-term view that you want to have. And I would say probably even a little bit longer than that. So, but the way I look at it is like, well, okay, it takes 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Does it really matter if this is your career and this is just what you do? That's just like, that's my view. So if you just focus on the process, those results will come. Sometimes they come quicker than others, but yeah, just following good fundamentals and they will eventually come. And if you have that view, does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean that's that long-term perspective, because when we start a business, our goal isn't to say like let's try this out for 30 days. It's like
Right.
I want to do this forever. So part of that strategy is content, and plus we're saying the same shit over and over. Why not just record it and then you can impact people that you don't even know? Because I mean we have people like, I never thought when I started this thing that I'd be working with a lot of people, but we have people coming in from all over the world and it's wild. I've seen other people do it. But
Yeah.
then until it started to happen to us, where it's like people in Australia, UK, Ireland, Scotland, Pakistan, India, everywhere joining like our hot dog offer. And then some people are ascending up because we built so much trust in what we do through content. It's not
Yeah.
like we're talking to all of them one to one. We're
Right.
talking through Facebook Lives, YouTube videos, our little reels that they start to follow and give them nuggets of advice. But it's also really great training for our own team.
Mm,
So
mm,
like they can watch like our objection handles, or here's how we post content on our Facebook walls to get people to raise their hand and saying, I want it, and then start a conversation. Then a conversation turns into a call turns into a client. So things can happen at a rapid pace once that system is in place.
yeah.
And then you commit to the system. And the best part is it's going to work, guaranteed. But then it's also not going to work. What are you going to do then? When you're faced with a challenge and things slow down for you, what are you going to do then? That's what
Mm,
is important, is that athlete, or that tenacity to kind of fight through it, because everybody's going to go through that.
absolutely. Now, with like, let's say I think because most coaches probably do want to implement some type of consistent like content strategy, whether it's a YouTube channel or a podcast or whatever. You mentioned traffic before. Do you use that as the thing that generates traffic, or do you actually drive traffic to the content, like with ads or some other strategy?
Yeah, I mean, if I was just starting out, I would get this done organically. I would test it out first, put it on my Facebook wall, invite friends, and DM them and saying, "Hey, I just posted this. Tell me if you can give me any feedback, if this is something that the market would like." So I'm just first testing it organically and doing my own little focus group, if you will. Once
Yep.
I feel like I've had enough feedback and I get good feedback and I get where the resistance points are, I can remodel my offer, go back to that same group of people and ask for their feedback again.
Yeah.
Once I get their blessings, I want to make sure that, hey, anybody that wants to work with me in this focus group, I want you guys to be my first round of clients. So if I can get them as clients by getting their feedback, they help me develop the product. Now I have a beta group. Once I go from beta, then I can start to slowly either get referrals or scale it through content on YouTube and Facebook. Those are probably my favorite two channels, YouTube and Facebook. And then from there, if I have cash flow that comes in from my beta group, I want to spend as much of it without losing it all. I want to run ads. I want to drive traffic, because that's going to be the biggest path to distribution, is spend as much money as you can on distribution, because that's the fastest reach. Facebook is going to have like probably the lowest cost traffic, but maybe not the highest quality. YouTube will have some high quality, but you're going to be paying for it because it's high intent searches. Google
Yeah.
ads will have the same thing. It'll be a little bit more premium of a price, but you have higher intent leads. Then you have to focus on your sales ability. Are you
Yeah.
able to attract the right people and then bring them into the ecosystem so they convert into a client?
Okay. And how do you? Actually, there's a lot of stuff in there. So with driving traffic, right? Because a lot of coaches listening to this podcast are at that stage where they're not like generally starting out right from the beginning, like trying to figure out, does the market want my offer? They've generally had some clients in that, so they're past that stage. So they're thinking about maybe advertising. They get referrals. Do you have like when they want to run ads, do you have a specific funnel that they're going down, or are you literally just advertising like an episode of content? Like what do you actually advertise? What do you recommend that they advertise when they get to that stage?
Yeah. So we have to look at the top of the funnel and we have to believe that they're skeptical. That's kind of how I go in writing my ads or coming up with our content, because I just want to give away goodwill. I just want to say, hey, here's something really cool. It's going to save you a ton of time, make you some money,
Yeah.
and get this thing. And then when they get this thing, it's going to ask for their name, email, phone number. And in exchange, they're going to get the thing, the little download.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to take the same model and just drive them to my Facebook group, build my community up a little bit of like-minded people.
Yeah.
Then once I have them in the Facebook group, then I can tag them and nurture them with past results, student spotlights, testimonials, and previous training. But then I can start the conversation with them in the DMs. Now that they've come into my house, which is my group, my party, you're welcome to hang out here as long as you like. Indulge. Hey, my content's your content now, right?
Yeah.
One of those vibes, like family vibes, that our thing is called the GSD for Get Shit Done, because we have a no nonsense approach to get people results.
Yeah.
So once they jive with our culture and how our style, then the conversations are warm. Then it's almost like they know who we are. We're trying to get to know who they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why
Okay.
the conversations become warm. So that's kind of the customer journey we take people through is tripwire, which is get something for free, come to our Facebook group, check out some of our other content, which we'll tag you in. We'll even give you a free mini course as our welcome post for just joining our group as well. And then we have a mature conversation. So it's kind of like a flywheel approach. And then the next logical step is, hey, if we call it the Diamond Club, our Diamond Club's our $47 a month subscription, where you have access to like Netflix style content and all our lessons, all organized, all in one portal, plus the live events or live calls. That's when they can get to know who we are. Then we give them a one-on-one, understand their bottlenecks, their offers, what they need help with. And then if they if they're like a good fit, then they can always join into one of our other programs that's more intimate. It's like daily training. So we make our recommendations based on where they are. So if they're a startup and they are just trying to get their very first client, and they're just fresh out of college, or they quit their job and it's been 3 months and cash flow is not quite there, we're not going to tell people to go get a loan. We're going to say, stay in Diamond. It's low cost, get a client, and then ascend up into one of our programs where you don't feel like, hey, this payment's going to kill me every time it comes through. We want to make sure you're really focused on yourself and your business to get you where you want to go. And when you are, we're going to help you once the time is appropriate as well.
Yeah, cool. And so your hot dog offer is the 47 a month, is that right?
That's hot dog offer number one for when we're offering what we do to our students in our coaching program. Yes. I also have the marketing agency side where we're working with our end clients.
Okay.
So
you run ads for coaches, is that right?
I run ads for other coaches as well. And we run ads for like gold companies, investment companies, doctors, dentists, lawyers. So we have a variety of outside customers. And so since we're also coaches and we're also an agency, that's why we're seeing so much real world data. We're seeing so much problems in the marketplace where we teach not only in real time what we're doing, but also giving them a stable business. So it's more assembly line. At first, it starts off with one person, and that's the entrepreneur. And as they start to grow, we're trying to create an assembly line with people. Like, how can we free up your time, get an assistant, get a media buyer, get a setter, get a salesperson? So it's literally an assembly line, like a Henry Ford power plant, but of people, but doesn't dip in customer experience. It only increases scale for you and your audience.
Okay, interesting. And so, I really like the idea of the hot dog offer. I think that's something that coaches can learn from. So is there any, do you have any examples off the top of your mind of just some hot dog offers that you've helped with clients, just to help the coaches listening to kind of wrap their head around what one might look like?
Yeah, like, for example, like, let's say you wanted to do a shorter, like, let's say your coaching program is 3 months and you charge $10,000. Now you're getting a bunch of resistance and you wanna get clients in, they're skeptical. I would
Yep.
have a downsell offer of a $500 offer. What does that $500 give you? It gives you instant access to a whole week of the inner circle for a low fee plus a one-on-one call. That could be
Yep.
the first level of a hot dog offer. So you're giving them a downsell and then a love it or leave it perspective. Come in for a week. I promise you'll love it. You'll get indoctrinated. You'll meet the family. You'll see the energy of the group. You'll see community. And you'll also realize how important accountability is, so we can keep you in line and constantly bring you up. So
Yep.
the rising tide will lift all boats. And after that week, we'll have a call and then we'll see how we want to further pursue working together.
Okay. And then do you also take it from the standpoint of, instead of like coming in and trying the bigger program, solving, as you like with your example, solving a very specific problem. So not even offering the big program, but just picking out a very specific problem that you can solve for them for a low amount, and then using that value to justify the back end
Yeah.
offer.
Absolutely. So with mine, it's $1,000 is what I charge. You get 1 hour, and the offer is going to be, I'm going to fix your offer. I'm going to get
Yeah.
you an offer that actually sells, because what I've noticed is the reason people's stuff isn't selling isn't because they're not good. It's because it's packaged incorrectly.
Mm, mm.
There's no ascension model. There's no strategy. It's like, I built it, I priced it, no one's buying it, but I'm right. Right. So we're stuck in our own perspective. So
Yeah.
that 9 out of 10 times when I get on a call with somebody, I like, once I listen to everything they've said, it all really comes back down to, they don't have like a clear, clean, confident offer. And then
Yeah.
that's what that is all about. Because once we have a good offer, that unlocks $1 million immediately. Now,
Yeah.
when do you make that million? Could take you a year, could take you two, but it's $1 million. Because the alternative is, if we don't get it right, it's just going to take longer to get there. And that
Mm.
longer could turn into never could turn into a W-2 job.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've had the same thing working with coaches as well. Now let me ask, like, do you, again, off the top of your head, like, elements of a strong coaching offer?
Well, first is it, like, after the market research, it attacks a major pain point.
Yep.
That's the number one. Number two, after the offer is implemented, after your hot dog offer is implemented, they have clarity and focus where they can actually start to go off on their own. Those are
Yeah.
kind of my two most important elements. Because, like, the offer, like, nobody can make money without having a good offer. So I already feel like that's the number one thing people need, right? Now, let me give you an exact opposite example. Like, when I'm talking to, like, my clients that I do my marketing agency for, my hot dog offer is software. I resell Go High Level,
Yeah.
and that's most businesses. I was at HVAC, doctors, dentists, whatever. I start off with my first statement is like, when it's after hours and somebody calls in, what happens? And what happens is they get voicemail. I said, "Do you feel that somebody who needs their heater fixed, they're going to leave a voicemail, or they're going to call the next person down the list until someone answers?"
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they'd probably call the next person. I said, "All right, if you had missed call text backs, letting the person know when they call this phone number, they're going to get a call saying, 'Hey, it's Ron over at Comfort HVAC. I got your missed call. Click this link to book an appointment. I'll call you first thing in the morning.'" Do you feel that that can capture those leads that don't have an emergency, but think people should be answering the phone at that point in time at 7 p.m.?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
800, and then the lifetime value. It's $800 every time that happens. Then I'll walk them through, how many times has this happened in the last 30 days? Can you guess? Happened
Mm,
10. We have $8,000. Now, I hate to ask this question, Ron, but how long do you think this could have happened in the last 5 years?
mm,
Now,
mm.
does that make sense to start here? And then we can talk about the marketing. Then we can talk about the coaching and the sales consulting you need.
Yeah.
So I want to solve a problem that can have high value, get my foot in the door, build the relationship, then I can offer my coaching.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. So I think the key here for coaches listening in is, like, find a very, I did this with a company recently. So I thought I had some deliverability issues with my emails, like Gmail blocking it. So I went, so Mail Monitor is a company that deals with deliverability. And so they did an audit. Like that's their kind of like hot dog, although it wasn't $500. It was much, much more expensive to do that audit. But the point is it was their version of like a tripwire of like, just solve this one key issue of just like looking at my deliverability and see if they're like Gmail or Microsoft or Yahoo are kind of blocking my emails and what the situation is, and fixing that. And it was good. They didn't really find much, which was good. So the peace of mind there. But the point is like looking at your prospects, so knowing your market really well and looking at their specific frustrations and picking out, or problems, challenges, whatever, and picking just one to solve. And sometimes, like you just mentioned, they might not even know it's a problem sometimes. Like your initial example with the better ad design, right? That's how you got started. Or your example of like the leads they're being lost. I mean, they would feel that pain. They would know that they're losing those leads when they go to voicemail or whatever. But sometimes they know that they've got the problem. Sometimes you kind of have to point it out to them, like saying, hey, I can improve your ad results with better design, whatever. But the point is finding somewhere very specific that you can deliver a key result, and then charging, that smaller amount to get your foot in the door. If going straight to high ticket is a hard sell for the market. So I think that's a great.
Right? I mean, it all leads to that. I personally feel the hot dog offer is great, but I mean, it takes sensory acuity on the sales process, because if you have a client that wants to work with you on a bigger project, be aware of that. Because my whole thing is I want to start a relationship with who I think's a good fit. So that's why I just like to prepare and keep people comfortable, but also at the same time stretch the comfort zone. So if we're comfortable like in this little circle, I want to expand it a little bit so I can get somebody to get a change, because I can't really always listen to people's excuses. That's what their mom and dad are for. I've got to make them change. So I got to expand them a little bit, but not make them so uncomfortable where it's going to be like, wow, this is way too much. This is really confusing. I want to take them inch by inch away from where they're comfortable so they can get into the space where they want to be. And that's really kind of my role as a marketer, and my role as being a coach, because I kind of look at both as one and the same. Because if you're working with clients, I mean, technically you may be their coach, but you're also giving them marketing and business ideas, and sometimes personal ideas, right, for their family or whatever it may be. So we are kind of like personal trainers. Like, man, those poor guys are supposed to get you in shape, and girls, but they're probably like listening to family problems and outside of their scope of the work, but they're doing it because they've developed the relationship. Has now become part of the process. And like you coaches listening to this, I'm sure you guys can relate. We hear a lot of stuff and we solve a lot of problems that aren't just marketing, but I look at that as an ancillary benefit, that we've developed so much trust and likability and authority that they're willing to share more with us.
Yeah. I remember Dan Kennedy saying, like, his clients and customers, they would end up coming to him for like relationship advice, and he's like, don't ask me, I've been divorced like 3 times, like I'm the last but they will still go and ask him, because he's an area expert in this area. When you got a relationship, they'll ask advice in all these other areas. So it's pretty cool. Part about being a coach, you do get to help your clients in different ways. Rahul, is there any part of your process or anything to do with attracting clients that we haven't discussed today that you wanted to talk about with the coaches listening in?
I mean, there is always so many different ways to attract clients. I mean, the clients are in front of you every day in your phone book, on the internet, just waiting and waiting for somebody to influence and impact them. I mean, my top 2 ways is do your organic content, because you're going to have to do it anyways, in my opinion. It's already 2023. Right. Everybody's hanging out on a social platform that you can impact and influence and help. Number 2 is advertise wherever your clients are kicking it. Like, so if you feel like they're on Facebook, do it. If they're on LinkedIn, do it. But also have patience to think advertising is long game. Don't look for magic bullets, because you'll be sorely mistaken. You may get lucky, but luck is not necessarily repeatable in marketing. We want to get something more consistent. But pick a platform and try it. And if you're good at networking, go to conferences. Like, I mean, if I go to a Tony Robbins event, which I've done Business Mastery, it's a $10,000 ticket, airfare, travel, hotel stay, food, drinks, whatever you do. And then you buy extra stuff, whatever it is. I mean, fuck, I go in there to learn a little bit, but then I'm also there to find 3 people that I can do business with. And
Yeah.
every single time I will be so focused that I will find 3 cool people out of 2,000 that I can jive with, that need my help, and we will do business, either
Yeah.
starting at that event or leaving it. So as long as you have your mind focused, your goal established, follow your game plan. If you don't have a game plan, get one. Because if you're
Yeah.
gonna kind of spray and pray, you'll probably get spray and pray results too. So just be as strategic as you possibly can.
Good advice. Now, Rahul, where can the coaches listening go to learn more about you and what it is that you do?
Yeah, I mean, check out. You can find me on Facebook. Just look up my name, Rahul Alim, and you'll probably see me wearing something with the GSD on it. And then
Yeah.
from my profile, you can find my group and other channels and stuff like that. Probably the easiest path is just look me up as Rahul Alim on Facebook or Google, and you'll find how to get in touch with me. And when you do, shoot me a message and say hello.
Perfect. Perfect. Thanks, Rahul. And by the way, thanks again for coming on. You're the first guest that we've had on twice. So thanks again for coming on, for sharing your wisdom and insights. I love the idea of the hot dog offer, by the way. I thought that's very cool, very different. So yeah, thanks again for coming on and giving up your time.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for listening in, and we'll see you on next week's